Hello everyone, it is the build-up show. Liverpool travel to Genk. We are going to be travelling to Liverpool City Centre for this one. We've got a live show kicking off from 6 p.m. Just off Victoria Street. The details will be in the information underneath. But come and have a little drink, have some live music, a sing-song, a few live shows, and watch the match with us as well. It's a very small, intimate venue. We're doing something here. It's going to be a belter. The whole Redmen TV cast and crew are going to be there, and you can be there too. £5 for tickets. If you are a subscriber to the redmentv.com, it is free, but all the proceeds from tickets go to the Liverpool Food Bank, so you can feel free to donate if you want to as well. But yeah, it's going to be an absolute belter. Come and join us and have a laugh. Yes, Chris, Genk. This time last year, we kind of following on from the conversations we had post Manchester United, really. This time last year is when Liverpool had their real sticky patch of the season. Mm-hmm. We were terrible away from home in the Champions League. Obviously, we lost all 3 of those away games, and we just drew a few too many matches. And it was around this time we switched to 4-2-3-1. We started putting Salah centre forward just to have our arguably most clinical centre forward in and around there. There's a lot on this game. I think these 2 games, the double header against Genk, they're the ones that are being pegged as their 6 points. 6 points that should be on the table for Liverpool. But sometimes it's not as simple as all that. Let's not forget Napoli only got a 0-0 draw in this game last time out. This is very, very important for Liverpool's chances of progression.
Yeah, it is. And look, I think last year we probably fell foul of having the first game against Red Star and snotting them, didn't we? We probably took them a little bit for granted in that second game away from home, and we obviously lost 2-0 there. This time, I think the result against Salzburg should help us in that we won't. I don't think we'll be able to take anybody less seriously. And I'm not accusing Liverpool of doing that really with Red Star, but they know they need to put a performance in because, you know, they're defending champions. And, you know, that means something to these players, and they'll want to go and make sure that they get through the group, and they want to top the group, and they want to prove that last year was no fluke and that they deserve to be there again and that they want to get to the final once again. And, you know, there's something about this club, and we know in European football, we always step up. And this time it's Genk, and this time we've got to go there and snot them, quite honestly. And I think the squad might need that after United.
That's it. It's a banana skin in potential, isn't it, Ross? You're right there. Yeah. It is a potential banana skin, because this is the thing that carries with us, is that we need to find a way. I think it depends how they approach it. Now, if it's to be believed, they played 4-2-3-1 at home against Napoli, so it's not like they're going to go ultra defensive necessarily against us, although it's possible. There is going to be an onus on us to take the game to them, to break them down. The thing with being reigning champions of Europe means that we are the biggest scalp in the competition. It's going to be one of those things. We're going to have to go to these games, go to these teams where this could be for these lads the biggest game of their career, etc., etc., etc. These are the added pressures that come with the situation we're in, and it's going to be on us to rise to.
Yeah, I think Chris is bang on. I think it's one of them, you have to go and lay down a marker. And this one, I think Salzburg was a bit of a wake-up call. Napoli, actually played really well, and we were unlucky to come away with a defeat there. I think just getting as many points on the board as soon as possible. Not that you can start resting players later on, but I think it makes it easier in a latter stage. If you're going for top spot, you can go for it. If you've got in a position where the fixture list is pretty congested, we've got the FIFA World Club Cup Championship to chuck in there as well. I think it all adds to being able to rotate your squad a lot better if you start getting points on the board. And I think making a bigger gap between us and them in that sense. I think they was 5-2-6 they lost in the first game, and they drew with Napoli in group stages. I think just bridging that gap, giving yourself some breathing rooms, are vital for this. And then going into the next game as well, I think get 6 points on the board. I think it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, 100%. I wonder, Ben, get your thoughts on this. Obviously, Salah doesn't even make the bench at the weekend. All the talk was he was going to be available for that game. It makes me wonder whether we felt that we had enough to do the job against United and not risk Salah. I wonder if Salah is miraculously 100% fit to start this game, whether there is something in which it shows Klopp's already starting to try to strike the balance. Because look, I say it's vital if we want to have this group in our own hands. It's vital that we get the win here, but also then obviously beat them at Anfield as well. This is where this group's going to be decided.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think for me, obviously as a fan, I definitely I'd rather beat Man United away from home and perhaps I think this game would have been more likely the game where if he was going to play one of them, I feel like this is the game that screams rotation to me more than the Man United game. So
do you think, by conversely to that? And again, this is just my Salah theory, because if he's injured, he's injured. But it makes me wonder whether you don't take a chance on Salah, because Klopp does understand that you can drop points at Old Trafford. We've got a lead in the Premier League.
Okay, yeah.
We don't have that comfort zone.
Maybe he's looking ahead to Tottenham as well. He's got to. You've got to now take. We've got quite a tough cluster of games in general coming up. It's a valid point. Maybe he comes back in, and it's a game where perhaps he might have a bit more space as well. Historically, he's not been brilliant against Man United as well. So maybe he comes into this one, it's a bit more of an easier game to bet him back into. Look, I think he will be around. Whether or not he starts, I don't know. Given the game that we've got at the weekend as well, does he look? I think he'll freshen things up, perhaps in one or two places. But yeah, I think if he's available and he can start, I think it is one that we, having him not played at the weekend, we do throw him back in for. Yeah,
I'm of the opinion that Salah probably won't start this game, and I don't think that he's taken any risks with the front three players this season, because we've just got three of them.
Yeah.
And if we want to go and win the Premier League, we need them available for as many games as is humanly possible for them. So if there is a doubt over one of our front three players, I think he will always err on the side of caution this season, because if we do have a long-term injury to them, that massively affects our title chances. I'd be really surprised if he played against Genk, having not featured at all, even on the bench, because I'd guess if he's fit enough to play Wednesday, fit enough to play 5-10 minutes at the end of the game. Yeah. And he didn't put him on the bench. And look, the bench against Manchester United, regardless of whether the players came on and did brilliantly, was lacking a striker. Yeah. And that he would have just thrown a striker on there if he was fit. So that says to me, Salah's not fit.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I'm one that potentially we'll obviously know more about as we get closer to kick off.
I mean, he's guaranteed to start now that I've said this.
Yeah, 100%. I just, like I say, I think this game, there's a temptation for us as fans to go, yada yada, Genk, who the fuck are Genk? 6 points, we're the champions of Europe 6 times, to get all that kind of stuff out the way. But if we do, a draw, Eros, that puts a significant amount of pressure on this game. And obviously, Napoli-Salzburg's going to have a deciding influence on this as well. That doubleheader is going to kind of define who is going to be, I think, who's going to finish, hopefully, second in the group behind us. But yeah, I don't think we can afford to be complacent, and it makes you wonder whether, we saw some great cameos from Naby, from Oxlade-Chamberlain, and from Lallana. And we've talked again, you said it yourself on the Final Word show about, do we need to go a bit more creative in midfield? I mean, odds are he's just going to go, if he's going to rotate, it's going to be Milner comes in for the three. It's going to be 2 from 3 of Wijnaldum, Henderson, Milner and Fabinho. But as a flight of fancy, this could well be a decent opportunity to get a full 90 minutes for one of those three lads.
I think so, but I think, as you touched on the way that they set up, I don't think you need that creative midfielder, which is kind of what I've just said. I think you can use your full-backs in this case. If they're playing 4 at the back, that's where we use Robbo and Trent. They can get into this game, where it's United when they're playing 5 at the back, which surprised all of us. That cuts them out of the game, because first and foremost the defenders, and they get criticised for doing that for some reason. Going they haven't got forward in this game. Well, United have got wing backs pushed up. I don't think Genk will do that, and I think you're right. We can't be complacent. Salzburg was a wake up call, and I don't think the Champions League's like that in most cases. I think you'd always had that one team that was the 4th seed. They're 6 points guaranteed. I don't think it's like that anymore, and particularly like you said of being European champions. This is their Champions League final. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it is, isn't it? Like European champions are going to their ground, and they're going to want to put a dent in that. Put us out. But as I said before, I think just bridge that gap as far as you can. A loss for them more or less puts them out. We've got 1 point on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone think Naby Keita for this one?
I would absolutely start Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Where would you start him?
Right side of the midfield 3.
Okay.
And I would absolutely start James Milner, left side of the midfield 3. And then take your pick, Wijnaldum or Fabinho, probably Fabinho at the base. And I'd like to see that midfield, to be honest with you. Yeah. What I think will happen is we might see one of our midfielders play on the left-hand side where Origi played. and be that Naby Keita maybe to get him in as well.
Oxlade-Chamberlain, though, that's where he came into the game.
Ox could do that as well. It wouldn't surprise me to see all three of those players playing in this game. I do think that you preach all season long that it's about squad, it's about squad, it's about squad. You then have to give those squad players opportunities. And yes, Genk is a potential banana skin, but also everyone in our squad is better than them.
I think it's telling. No, but it's telling. Think back to 2 seasons ago, and obviously I've got no idea where to rate Genk in terms of quality of opposition. I'll be perfectly honest. But I think about some of those away games. I know we actually struggled in the Spartak game, but we battered them at Anfield. We battered them away, but we didn't get. I think we got a draw in that game. We battered Maribor away from home. But these are the games when we had Coutinho, Mane, Firmino, Salah available to us. And I do wonder whether there's just something to going up against the lesser lights. Ross and just saying we're just going to go dead attacking for this and see if we can get the game, nicely wrapped up.
I think it's about rotation and freshness as well. And I think you bang on. I think one person that no one's mentioned is Shaqiri. And I think if he doesn't get a game here, I don't.
Is he fit?
I don't know if he's fit. He would have made the bench, I think, yesterday. I get the feeling he's injured.
Well, no, but there's someone that you should be putting into this game.
Yeah.
In terms of rotation, freshness, and attacking play.
Yeah.
Of going, you go and start this game.
It'd be amazing, but like a mad, it's a mad world where we could, if the fit, because we don't know, because we were told Klopp's got the fittest squad, most available squad he's probably had in God knows how long going into the United game, and then there's no sign of Salah or Shaqiri. Like, imagine a world where he just goes, right, 4-2-3-1, Shaqiri's playing off the right, Salah's playing centre forwards, and then picky poison throughout the rest of it. That would be, for me, and I don't know how possible that is, but that's a real flexing of the muscles, particularly with Spurs at the weekend. Go ahead, lads. We've just decided to completely rest two senior quality, international and beyond caliber footballers to bring them into this. What are we going to do against Hughes? Pochettino's like, there's just going to be that footage on All or Nothing when it gets released at the end of the season of him just sat there doing like the Pep thing. Well, maybe they'll play Salah up front, so maybe they'll do this, and maybe they'll play playing Shaqiri. And yeah, that's my blue sky thinking on this whole situation. Odds are they're probably just both injured, and we're going to see the usual midfield three, and then someone's shoehorned into the front three. Okay, we'll do preferred 11s in a moment, but first, the lads Ross and Ben sat down at the Around the League show this week, obviously talking about more VAR debacles. Here's a little clip from that. Eventually, someone's going to have to go and go to the monitors, and I think once that's done, you'll probably see a slew of it, and then it'll probably go too far, and then it'll come back and stuff. My problem with it is going to the monitor. I don't mind them not going to the monitor because it takes too long out the game, and I think it adds to the pressure cooker environment. I think it puts too much pressure on the referee, if I'm honest, because I saw it at the World Cup, and you've got like referees and they're stood there. And a lot of the times they're not in control of what they're seeing as well. They're still being fed the angles and that, and then the longer they take, maybe they're looking at them. They need to be properly getting instructed. I just think clarity. I think
with the monitors, I think if the referee, and it is easier said than done because I'm definitely not a referee, but if the referee is qualified to be a referee at that level, it shouldn't put him under pressure. And the example of that for me is the Man United PSG handball, where he gives the penalty for Man United in the very last second of the game. It's at PSG, but he's still got the balls to give that decision. That's good refereeing because he's gone over, he's looked at it, despite the environment that he's in, he's gone, no, for me that's a penalty, I'm going to give a penalty. That is perfect use of VAR. I thought it was a penalty at the time. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. And if the referee, it's just about, if the referee, as I say, he shouldn't be in that situation if he's going to bow to the pressure. And so, sometimes you do. Yesterday it could have been that Martin Atkinson doesn't give free kicks because we're at Old Trafford.
But what's the point of the VAR team being off-site? Because the point is meant to be that it's getting them out of the ground, so it stops them from having their opinions influenced. Brilliant! You can get that on the redmentv.com. It's completely free for the first month. Go and try it out. See how you get on with it. See how it fits. We've also got newsroom podcast with some of the best people, obviously from like the likes of the Athletic. James Pearce sat down with me the other week, and brilliant content. The now classic interview with Chris and Jurgen Klopp, the one everyone wants to see, is a reality, and that's there. There's some brilliant content. Go and check it out for yourselves. Preferred 11s then. We've all kind of hinted at it. Let's do redefine this or define this clearly. This is our preferred. This is what we would like to see. This is not what Jurgen Klopp's going to do, which we know is going to be 4-3-3. It's going to be Wijnaldum and Miller, or Wijnaldum and Henderson. It's going to be Origi, Firmino and Mane if Salah's not fit. We know this. Let's have a flight of fancy. Ross, what would you like to see Liverpool do in this game?
Back five. Back five picks itself.
Like Rocky.
Despite Matip, not reading the fine print in his contract of giving the ball back to Man United.
I would personally go on. No, I would be making Matip sit this one out as punishment for being a fucking massive idiot and kicking the ball out of play.
I'd be making him ball boy. If you want to give the ball back, do it all game, mate.
Yourself. Yeah.
Midfield Fabinho, Milner. I think I said that on the final word. Surprised Milner didn't start Man United. He's had a massive rest of international break, experience and everything else that he brings. Chamberlain, the other one, midfield. I think he deserves a start. I'd be interested to see how he gets on. I know it's a massive risk, as we touched on, about people being good impact subs and stuff like that. I want to see him start a game. I think he needs that in him. I think if it doesn't work out, you've got options there.
Am I right in thinking Lallana started away at Red Star, didn't he? Lallana and Sturridge started that game, and we were fucking absolutely god awful. I wonder whether that's got a little thinking in the back of Klopp's mind on this one.
And if Shaqiri's fit, I'd start him, to be honest, as well. I love Origi.
I agree with you. I just don't see a world where Shaqiri starts. Like, I mean, if he's
doesn't
fit,
matter preferred 11 world, which
no, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I do agree with you. I would like him to play. I'm just trying. I know.
If you want to sit here and have your thoughts uncontested, Ross, you've come to the wrong place. Chris slaughtered Ben for daring to try and have a guess at what the rules are on VAR earlier today.
Catch more of that in the around the league.
Actually, I'll change that. I'll put a Brewster in there.
From out of nowhere?
Yeah.
Not a fucking chance.
Yeah. He played at the weekend, he scored at the weekend.
But where'd you play him? Are you taking Firmino out?
No. Didn't think about that before I said it.
Genk.
Just interchange. Let them do what they want.
Go on, Ben. Anything?
Nothing groundbreaking, to be honest. No, I think I'd play Fabinho, Milner, Chamberlain. I'd stick with Origi on the left and play Mane on the. I'd play the same front three as yesterday.
I don't see a world where that happens.
I do. No, I.
Why?
What?
Why don't you?
Yeah.
No, it just means I don't know.
You're allowed to contest as long as you've got a point to make.
Origi's a good impact sub, and he's shown nothing different in recent form since that he can do it. Glimpses of it at Man United. He got in behind Lindelof, but that's it. I'm not saying he's crap, but he's just so much better.
Right. Look, and before someone obviously shouts Barcelona up in the defence of Origi, I think you're 100% right. I think he's a far better impact sub than I think he is a guy who starts the game.
But would you still prefer Shaqiri to just be dropped in after not playing at all this season over Origi, who's at least had a run of games?
I genuinely forgot Shaqiri played for us.
Yeah,
it's been so long since I've seen him.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not. Okay, if you're getting the Shaqiri that we maybe got last December, then I prefer him to be around. But
if we're
right now,
if we're going to play 4-2-3-1, the best we ever saw of Shaqiri for Liverpool was playing the right hand side in 4-2-3-1, and I'd be happy with us going to that. For me, it's predicated on the fitness of Salah and him. If they're both fit, why not? Why not throw them both in this game? Because I don't think you're losing anything. I think the Brewster shout. I want Brewster, but I think we've seen quite clearly that he's miles off being ready for us. Not to do with his quality. He's just, we're talking about Oxlade-Chamberlain has played has had probably 5 or 6 appearances off the bench and what have you since coming back from being out for a year, and it took him till then to the game at the weekend to finally look like the player who's gone. Brewster hadn't played a senior game of football. Was out for actually probably longer. With injuries. I think I'd have Brewster on the bench if Salah's not fit, and I would put Brewster on the bench just for the experience. But it's a
Harvey Elliott then.
But I would be more inclined to do that. But I think with Lallana fit, would now be fit with Oxlade-Chamberlain fit. I don't think we're going to. the radical thing is not radical because they're all senior players. They're all established senior players for Liverpool. It's just which of them we reckon are gonna get put in. One case, if you
flight of fancy, I would 100% get Gomez into this game for Trent, and not because I think it's the right game for him, but I am starting to look at the fullback position going, where are they going to get rest if they can't get rest in any of these games? Because they're so important to us and they do so much work that Milner's going to have to come in for Robertson at some point and Gomez is going to have to come in for Trent at some point. For me, maybe one of those is this game.
Do you change the formation in that regard?
No,
because we do suffer a little bit.
No, that's why when I was talking before and I said, like, get Ox and get Milner into the midfield and change the midfield up so that you're not reliant on the crosses from the fullback so much. Then maybe put a Keita in there on the left-hand side or something like that. So I wouldn't mind seeing that. And you know what? Adam Lallana, I never, ever thought I'd say this, but, you know, maybe I want to see him in the 6 in this game in the Champions League. Maybe, because Fabinho, Firmino and Sadio Mane all played in wherever it was. They did 13,000 miles travelling last week, and they're going to be travelling again. And we've got huge games coming up, time and time again now for the next 3-4 weeks or whatever. And I think they're going to need to get some time back themselves. So if you can rest just a few of them in this game and dangle that carrot of, we are the Champions League holders. We've got a target on our back. You want a place in this team, then fucking fight for it. Yeah. Go out there and put fucking Genk to the sword and put 4 past them. Well, Liverpool Football Club and each one of these players is good enough. Yeah. They're not as good as our first team. No, they're not. But they are good enough to go out there and smash Genk off the face of the earth. Yeah, it sounds great, doesn't it? I'm not sure it ever quite works out that way in reality. But no, it'd be an interesting one for me. I can think of a million possible combinations. A lot of it's just without knowing where Salah's at. That makes the big decision for me, because if Salah's fit, I wouldn't surprise me if we did start to see a shift back towards 4-2-3-1 for a little spell, just to get a few goals under his belt in particular. I'd be starting him centre forward. But I think if Firmino, he wants Salah, Firmino and Mane on the pitch at all times. You know, and their rest generally comes in substitutions, doesn't it? And obviously we might see it in domestic cup competitions and what have you. So there's maybe a case of Shaqiri or Oxlade-Chamberlain become part of the 4, become part of an attacking 4 there. So it's Salah, Firmino, effectively up top, Mane maybe position with Mane from the right, and you go Oxlade-Chamberlain from the left, and then you've got Origi then as your impact sub. Wijnaldum, Fabinho as a midfield 2, or Fabinho, Milner as a midfield 2. Other than that, it depends. Maybe if to go with your logic, Chris, I could happily see Wijnaldum in the 6 in this game, and then you go Milner, Oxlade-Chamberlain as the midfield 3, and that should be enough. And then if Salah's fit, you've just got the front 3 and let it go well. Let us know. I've got no idea. I do. I know exactly what the team's going to be. It's going to be, as mentioned, 2 from 3 of Wijnaldum, Henderson and Milner with Fabinho and the front 3 if it's fit, and then the rest goes on with that. Anyone putting Lovren in for this?
Completely forgot about it.
We've got a lot of players.
Yeah.
No, but this is the thing, if Shaqiri's fit and if Salah's fit, and now all of a sudden you've got Naby, Ox and Lallana banging on the door as well. You know, we mentioned Harvey Elliott's getting nowhere near this team.
Still grounded, isn't he?
Is he still? Oh, that's a good point, actually.
I think he is. I think he might have another week left. The problem is, if you make too many changes, you lose your rhythm. It's all well and good. I get that. You know, it should be good enough. I know the drop off is huge.
We made this mistake. I referenced it today. Sorry, Ross, to cut you off again to make this point again.
Fucking fine.
But we fucked Red Star up big time. We were far too complacent with our team selection in that game. We rotated heavily and we paid the price. I've no idea. I don't know what we're walking into compared to that. I think we should have expected it to be a vile atmosphere, and it was in Red Star. I don't think that it's necessarily going to be quite like that, because I just think Serbian football fans are just on another level when it comes to that kind of stuff. But that should be our warning here, that we need to make sure that and Klopp talks about it all the time. I think he will worry about Spurs once he's through with this game. I don't know that us as fans can allow ourselves to maybe think that way.
No, probably not. And I think, I forgot about Gomez. Like, I'd love to start Gomez, you put Lovren in there and give people the rest that they need. But everything, and has been since the start of the season, is so high pressured. You can't afford to drop any more points in anything. I think, I touched on the Napoli game before. Had that been a draw, I think you can look at it slightly different, or obviously a win. You can probably rotate a few more players into the side, but I think it's just really difficult to maintain that rhythm.
You got any score predictions for this one, Matt?
2-0.
3-0.
Okay, Chris.
2-0.
5-0 for Liverpool.
Well,
why not?
That'll be a good live show.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. What's
Yeah, we're doing a live show. Fuck 0-0.
crispy ruined?
0-0 it'll be because we're doing a live show.
Yeah. Why not? Liverpool do need to kick things on. It's about that time. I think hopefully the lessons learned from last season, it won't take us so long to react to it. I do think we just need to swing our dick around a little bit more, and I don't know whether I don't feel that can be done in heavy rotation. I think we'll go strong for this game. I think we'll go the best possible team, the strongest team we possibly can for this, and we should do. Worry about Spurs at the weekend. To be fair, right now, again, we need the points here far more than we need the points against Tottenham Hotspur. I'd worry about them. Look, they're in. We don't know what Tottenham's going to turn up. Hopefully it's the awful Tottenham that's been hanging around all season, but we can worry about that in due course. Obviously Red Star, I've got that on the brain. Red Bull Salzburg hosting Napoli. That draw there would be absolutely spectacular in terms of our chance of progression. But we'll
that's
see.
a really good game, It's funny because having seen what I've seen of Salzburg, like that's a game actually that if Liverpool weren't playing at the exact same time, I might have tuned in to watch that anyway because I bet that's quite good.
Yeah, just looking obviously at the tables lined up, Napoli top on 4 points at the moment, us and Salzburg both on 3, and then Genk on the 1. So, I mean, look, theoretically, Salzburg taking a win there does open things up a little bit more, but it's when you start to get into that world of is it better just to have Napoli pull away?
Rival.
So yeah, exactly. I think Liverpool won atop the group. Both teams cutting each other's throats would be absolutely ideal for us. Let us know your thoughts on this one then. What is your preferred 11? Go mad. Give us a flight of fancy. And your score predictions as well. Other than that, yeah, do make sure you go and check out the Around the League show on the redmentv.com. And make sure you follow at the Redmen TV on Twitter as well for live updates. And do come and check us out. Our live show in Liverpool City Centre. It's going to be an absolute belter. The football will be very secondary. You'll be able to watch the game. It's on loads and loads of big screens all around the place. You can watch it with us, have a laugh. But yeah, we're just going to go and have a party. We're going to sing some songs. We're going to drink a few adult beverages. And we're going to have a laugh. And Chris will probably say things not fit for camera. Standard. So if you want to see stuff that's unbroadcastable, please do come and check out the show. The ticket information will be in the video information underneath this, and it'll be on Twitter as well. You can go to ctickets.com and just type in Redmen on there, and it'll come up. But yeah, guys, thank you very much. Looking forward to this game. More importantly, looking forward to the live show and the carnage that will ensue. See you all very, very soon. If we don't see you there, ta-ra.